Hi there, my name is Dustin Dart. I'm president of Ascent Sales International. We're a professional sales training and business growth consultancy firm. And I want to welcome you to this video. We're going to quickly go through an exercise, a very powerful exercise that will help you to realize how much more that your business can grow, how much more that you can actually sell than you're selling right now. Very, very powerful exercise. And so what I want to ask you really quick before we get started with the lesson here is think about it for a second. How much can you actually grow your sales? I want you to think about the potential. I want you to think about the marketplace. I want you to think about how much you're actually trying in the marketplace, how strategic you're being or not being. How much can you truly increase your sales? Think about that for a second. I want you just to resonate on that for just a little bit. And if you don't mind, while you're thinking about it, I'm going to tell you a quick personal story that is highly personal, but at the same time, it was a foundational experience in my life that helped me dramatically increase my sales and led me to where I am today. And probably would not be here with you right now if it wasn't for this experience. So one day when I was 22 years old, long time ago, I got a phone call. And it was kind of a crazy phone call. It was a phone call from my doctor. And my doctor said, "Hey, Dustin, you need to get down to my office as soon as you possibly can." Well, when the doctor calls you, they tell you get down to the office, you know it's something serious. And so I went down to the office. I sat down on the table, and the doctor walked in, and he had a somber look on his face. Again, not a very good sign. He says, "Dustin, you know that mole we took off last week on your back? Well, I'm really, really sorry to tell you this, but it's melanoma." And at the time, I didn't know what melanoma was. And so I asked the doctor, okay, what's melanoma? And he says, well, it's a very, very serious form of skin cancer. In fact, it's the most serious form of skin cancer, and it can be very, very deadly. And so we need to get you down to the cancer center and go through some more tests and see how serious this thing is. Well, for a 22-year-old kid, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And so for 3 weeks to maybe a month, while I went through other surgeries, we had to check to see how far the cancer had advanced. I had a hard, long look at my own mortality as a young man, okay? I basically had to stare death in the face, and during those moments, if you've ever experienced something like this, during those moments you reflect upon your life, you reflect upon what you've done and what you haven't done, you reflect upon the things you wish you would have done better. And trust me, there are a lot of things that I wish I would have done better, and one of those things was, man, I really wish I would have done better in sales. Okay? I was an average sales rep back then. Okay? Wasn't crushing it, but I wasn't, the back of the pack either. But I really wish that I would have given it my all. I really wish that I really tried to master the sales process. And that was one of my big regrets. Because deep inside of me, I knew that I had much more potential than I had given to my sales career. Okay? And so from that moment on, I started a new career. I started a new journey on learning the best of sales success, and my sales just took off. From that moment, after everything was clear, luckily everything was clear. We caught the melanoma cancer, just to finalize the story here for you. We caught that cancer at stage 0. It had just barely started. And I was lucky because I personally know some really, really good people who didn't catch it as early as I did. And unfortunately, they're no longer here with us. And so I consider myself lucky. I had a second lease on life. And so from that moment, I went on this incredible journey. And my sales dramatically increased until I was able to become one of the top 1% of the entire industry that I was selling in. And we don't need to get into the details. That can be another video, but I tapped into that potential. and I studied and I did the work. I laid out the strategic plans and I executed until my sales dramatically increased to become one of the top 1% of the industry. And so that brings me back to the original question. Okay, this video isn't about me. This video is about you. Here's the original question. How much more do you think that you can increase your sales? Have you given it serious thought yet? Okay, let's go through this exercise. All right, this exercise right here is called your potential gap. Okay, your potential gap. All right, so that's what the diagram means right here. Okay, here's you with your current results. They may be bad, they may be good, they may be unbelievable. Okay, only you can decide that. Okay, only you know where you're sitting. Here's your current results. That's where you are. Now, there's a gap between what you actually can do and where you're at right now. Okay, here's your true potential. Okay, here's your true potential. What can you do for real if you really tried? If you really studied and mastered the sales process and all of its different aspects? How much more can you sell? Here's a question for you. I want you to answer this honestly to yourself here. Could you double your sales if you really tried? If you're a business owner, I want you to think about this question. Could you double the size of your business if you really tried? If you really went after it? If you sought out the best advice, if you sought out the best strategic partners, could you double your sales? Most business owners and most salespeople that I ask that question, they think about it and they say, you know what? Yes, I could. I could double my sales. I absolutely could. Okay? I want you to think about it a little bit harder. I want you to think about the top producer in the entire industry. You may not know who they are. That's okay. But I just want you to think about it. Who is the highest producing sales rep or rep in your entire industry? Or the one that you know? How much more are they selling than you are? Okay? Think about that. Are they selling double, triple, quadruple? 10 times more than what you're selling? What does it happen to be? And here's another thing. Okay? My friends, if they can do it, whoever you're thinking about, if they can do it, then you can do it. So all of a sudden, when you start to think about this, your potential gap actually starts to get wider. It actually begins to grow. Okay? So instead of just doubling your sales, could you triple your sales? Could you quadruple your sales? I'm going to tell you a quick story about two gentlemen that I know personally. But before I get into that story, I want you to think about this. Why does it even matter? All right? Why does it even matter that you increase your sales? Does it matter? Does it matter to you? Think about that question. Why should you increase your sales? You know it's going to be more work. You know, it's going to be more work to dramatically increase your sales. You're going to have to go through some personal growing pains. All right? You're going to have to be uncomfortable for a little bit. So why even go through that exercise? Why even try to increase your sales? Why try to grow your business? You know there's growing pains. You've done it before, right? Now think about that. Why? Why grow your sales? Is it to tap into more of your potential? Is it to grow as a person? Is it to provide a better life for your family, for your children, for your coworkers, for the people that you take care of, or the people that you employ, or the people that you support with extra sales? Is it fulfilling more of your destiny? If you're a salesperson, you know if you sell more, you make more money. That's a good thing, right? You make some more money. You can do more things. You can give more of a lifestyle to your children or more opportunities to yourself, to your family, to your friends. set yourself up better for later on in life? All right? The answer to that question, why increase your sales, can go deep. And I want you to think about that, even after this video. Why should you increase your sales? What good can it do for you and for others that come in contact with you? Okay? Not alone, just to mention that growing sales means that you grow as a person. All right? That's one of the most beautiful things, in my opinion, about sales and sales success is if you grow in sales and you grow as a person. Okay? You struggle. You learn new things. You're constantly challenged. And that, my friends, is just a beautiful thing in all of its in and of itself. Okay? So think about it. Why increase your sales? And then how much can you increase your sales? What's the true potential? What is your true potential gap? Now, this is a business example. Remember the two gentlemen I mentioned here? Now, I personally know two gentlemen that got into the same exact type of business in the, late 90s? Mid to late 90s. And exact same industry, exact same type of business. And they've had two different, hugely different results. Okay? First gentleman, really good guy, really like him. He has a successful business, right? Every year, he does about $2 to $2.5 million in sales. That's a respectable business, all right? No one's going to say that's not a respectable business. $2 million in business is a really, really good business. He, has a nice house, got a nice car, can take care of his family, and he does his thing, okay? $2 million, that's great. Now, there's another gentleman that I know personally, and I actually used to work for him. And same exact industry as this gentleman. Started up at the same time. He now has approximately a $220 million a year business. Okay? Think about that. That's not just 10 times bigger of a business. Okay? That's not 10xing his business. Over the course of this time, this gentleman grew his business 100 times bigger than the other gentleman. 100 times. Think about that. Now this guy, really good guy too, but he lives a life of absolute luxury. All right? Got a vacation, got a home in Florida. He got a home in Minnesota. All right? Travels around. He doesn't actually work much in the business. He's got managers that take care of everything in all of the different facilities spread across the United States of America. And every once in a while, whenever he feels like it, he flies to one of the locations, sees how things are doing, making sure that things are being profitable, making sure they're doing the right things. And then he goes on his merry way. And he's passively, truly passively now, making a very large sum of money every year and every month. All right? This is like generational wealth. All right? That's generational wealth. So if you're this type of gentleman at $2 million and you're thinking about it, well, your true potential gap is at least $220 million. Right? If he can do it, you can do it. Now here's another question. What's the difference? What was the difference between this gentleman and that gentleman? I'm not saying this guy was bad or anything. He's a really good guy. Has a respectable business, but what's the difference? The second gentleman, business owner number 2, grew his business 100 times bigger. Okay? Well, here's the big lesson I want you to go away with today in this video. Okay? The big lesson is this. Gentleman number 2, can you still see me? Gentleman number 2 had a different strategy. Okay, had a different strategy of sales, of business growth, and he executed. Okay, strategy and execution. When you boil it all down, excuse me, when you boil it all down, That's what it is. My book just fell down. Strategy and execution. All right? Really, when you think about it, gentleman number 2 had a different strategy. He went about sales and business growth a different way, in a much more strategic way, in a way that dramatically grew his business from where they began. Okay? Strategy and execution. All right? One of my mentors that I studied under for a while used to say this. Okay? If you're not getting the results that you wish that you would, if you know you have so much more potential that you're not tapping into, you have one of 3 problems. All right? Number 1, you have no plan, okay? No strategy. Number 2, your plan or your strategy is no good. All right? If you do have a plan but you're not getting the results, then it's no good. The strategy is no good. Or number 3, if you do have a good plan or a good strategy, then you're no good at executing it. Okay? One of those 3 things. Okay? Strategy and execution. My friends, you can tap into your potential. You just need to understand the strategy about growing your sales in a dramatic fashion. All right? Now, I have an event coming up here soon. I'd love to have you there with me. I'd love to have you join me and learn all about the strategy of growing your sales in a dramatic fashion. If you want to double your sales or triple your sales or 10x your sales or more, it's all going to boil down to this strategy. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this event. All right. I hope this exercise has been enlightening to you. I hope that you can realize that you have so much more potential in your sales or your business growth, and that if you can tap into it and truly sell and make the money and make the impact that you can truly do, life will be that much better for you. And I'm here to help you to do that. All right, this is Dustin Dart with Ascent Sales International. Hope it's been valuable to you. Think about these questions. I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you. Oh, and remember this, you can do it because I believe in you.